It started with a few books. We were trying to make connections between characters and books. And I specifically chose a few books that had some international themes because I have kids in my class from other countries who have moved to this country or now in my class, and I wanted them to feel like there were stories that they could relate to.
We read about boxes for Katya. Rosie and Katya both set both boxes to each other. Anna said about Beatrice when she got to go to school. Let me show you. This is a picture of it.
I started with some of those books, and the books ended up, the connection between the characters in the books were that people were helping each other across international lines. People were sending aid to one country, and friendships were growing out of that. And my students took an interest in this theme, and all my students took an interest in this theme. And we got to the end of reading 3 books, and they decided that they wanted to do something to have a connection with the characters. And so I suggested the bracelet idea.
We made them and they're for $1.
You sold them for $1?
Or more dollars. We don't care, but we cannot give them out for free.
Beatrice received a goat through Heifer Project, and we thought, well, we could give a goat through Heifer Project. And then the Goat Lady, which was the last book that we read, was a woman who raised goats and actually donated her goats to the Heifer Project, and then they were sent from the States to countries around the world. And so we thought, a goat's a good plan. We introduced it to the parents, and I had kids hawking bracelets at their family birthday parties and holding their aunts and uncles accountable.
We actually have $283. Wow.
The money started rolling in, and more money than I expected. We were aiming for $120 to buy a goat, just like the book we read, Beatrice.
We raised so much money, we got enough for 2 goats and some chicks.
Holy cow, that's
And for the people can have some milk.
okay. And why did
So they sell milk for good food, so they survive, and so they can sell it to get money to go to school. The family's gonna help them. Yeah, the goats are gonna for food. Yes, and they're gonna share the goat skin to make blankets, and they're gonna use the chicken's eggs for making for eggs and stuff. They're useful because they can't lawn mow your grass. They eat grass.
So they can mow your lawn?
Yeah, and cut and give you milk.
Beatrice milked the goats, and it was the milk that actually, and selling the milk, that enabled her to pay for her education and go to school. Prior to that, she could not afford school. So that exposed kids to the idea that, we're really privileged to be able to go to school in Colchester, and that public education is funded, and so it also gave them an appreciation of what they do have.
This is when she wanted to go to school, and her mom told her, lucky things take time. And that's when good things take time. Yes, and that means good things take time to earn some enough money. And then they had to cut some bananas, and they had to cut some rope to make it for it. She had to work so hard, and then some nice people got her a goat, and then she had to take care of the goat to get money. Then she had enough money to go to school.
One little thing that one child can do can create an avalanche of good deeds.
They help her, these people, give things to people. And we, teamed up with them. Well, she gave her goats to the same project that Beatrice got her goats, and maybe Marisa was one of her goats.
The idea behind heifer is that when somebody receives an animal, any offspring that the animal has then goes to other families. So the gift keeps on giving. And so these kids are giving 2 gifts in a flock of chickens, 2 flocks of chickens, but those will also become gifts that go on to other people. I think the most important part for me was to see how invested the kids were in their learning, and it went from a simple lesson on characters being connected to them having a connection with the text that will last them a lifetime. I mean, I think it's one of those memories that they'll bring from kindergarten and carry with them. They could think back and probably not remember the time that they learned about text connections, but they will now. They'll remember, they'll remember those characters from the book influenced their actions, and in the future, that may carry through into adulthood, choices that they make and things that they do.